Hi guys, welcome back. It's Andy at First Gear. So we've just done a sequence on the manual handling. We're going to move on to the slalom part, okay, of the Module 1 test. We're going to go and conduct every single series of the Module 1, so you guys can check out the website and YouTube, and you'll see the whole Module 1 and how First Gear conduct it. So we're going to move on to straight away now the slalom exercise. Okay guys, so the next thing we're going to do is the slalom. I'm going to just talk about some of the exercise first before we actually ride it. So once you're on the bike, it's really important that you remember you have to do a lifesaver over both shoulders every time before you pull away, okay, whilst you're on the Module 1 test centre. Okay, you have to make sure. If you forget any of those checks, it's going to be one minor fault, and you can only lose 5 minor faults throughout the whole of the test, and then you'll fail. Okay, so it's crucial. Plus you're going to need them skills for when you're out on the main road, okay, from when you're pulling away from behind traffic. Okay, the next thing we're going to do before we pull away is check our blind spots. Okay, so it's a really crucial aspect of the Module 1. So the next thing, we're going to move from the box, we're going to start riding. At this point you should only be looking now towards the first cone. Okay, now we want to pick up our reference point for entering the slalom, okay, and we're going to come into the slalom about here. Okay, this is going to set us up for the next part. Okay, you don't look at the cones, okay, the key is to look for the gaps in between the cone. If you look at the cones, you're going to hit a cone. Okay, so our positioning here is important. If we come up too high, it's going to offset us for the next part of the slalom, and then that'll throw us out throughout the whole of the slalom. The key for the exercise is making sure that we have steady power, full control of the clutch, okay, and we're going to use the rear brake to balance the bike if need be, and the most important thing is we want to keep away from that front brake. As soon as you touch it slightly, you'll dip in, your foot will go down, and that'll be the end of the test. Okay, so we're going to move on and have a ride now. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through that slalom again. Another important thing to remember is at the end of the slalom, you will go directly into the next manoeuvre, which is the figure of 8. But I'm just going to deal with the slalom at this point, and I'm going to deal with the figure of 8 because it is a completely separate manoeuvre, even though it's attached to the end of the slalom, that I want to deal with it separately because there's things you need to know separate about that. So I'm going to ride the slalom again. I'm going to show you some of the basic mistakes that people are going to either fail their test for or they're going to pick up minor points for. Okay, I'll tell you what they are as I go so that you don't need to try and identify them yourself. Okay, so here we go. So straight away I haven't checked. Okay, now I'm going to come in too high into the actual slalom. Now this has now made it hard work for me. I'm going to start to get out of control, and then you can see now, and if I'm going to hit the cone, as soon as you touch that front brake, the foot's down and you've just failed. So they're the typical mistakes, is coming in to the slalom without checking, okay, not hitting the right entry point into the first part of the slalom. Then you start to lose that control, you panic and you grab the front brake, straight away the foot's down. So that's some of the basic mistakes that people are going to make when they first try. But don't be worried, you're going to do plenty of practice. Our training schedule runs from every single day of your training from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We just do Module 1. So by the time you get that test centre, you'll know how to do everything you need to. Okay guys, so that completes the tuition part of the actual slalom. Remember, okay, that's going to move directly into the figure of 8, which I'm just lining myself up for now, but we're going to take care of that, okay, in the next video, okay, because it's important that we actually differentiate between the two, and I look forward to seeing you next time guys. All the best.